Welcome back to Positive Life. Today we're going to discuss trust issues. We all have experienced moments where someone has betrayed us, has violated our trust. We had falling outs and negative experiences that make us really reluctant to trust people in the future. And that we have our reasons why certain things bother us, and that we get, I would say, a little touchy or a little sensitive on certain experiences. Then when it comes to relationships, we take longer to trust somebody, or we may never open up. We may never be honest. Trust is really a very important trait, because if we don't have trust in a relationship, it will dissolve. Trust issues connect us to our past. They connect us to a particular moment or a series of events that make us feel that we can't open up to another person, and that we can't believe what people say, because people are going to make promises, and they're going to say things, and they're going to make it appear that they could give us something, that they can make us happy, that we could have a healthy relationship or friendship. But sometimes we think about those moments in the past when someone violated our trust, when someone betrayed us, and when things didn't go as planned. We had high expectations, and that we believed something would happen, and it didn't at that particular moment. And then we start to reflect back to the past and sit in a bubble to be protected, to be careful, to be extra careful that someone does not do what hurt us again, because we don't want to experience that pain, because we know how difficult it was, that it could have made us depressed, sad, upset, and vulnerable, and our self-esteem could have gone down, and our confidence. And it's okay to look at the past and know that these things happen, and that you have to be extra careful. However, we base our past on the present, on the future, that we will never trust ourselves, because we may blame ourselves for these events. We could blame other people, but ultimately we blame ourselves, and we're hard on ourselves because we feel like, I should have known better. I should have known that this person was going to do this, that they were going to cheat because of their past. And sometimes it is accurate. Like, some people that cheat will continue to cheat. They will never change their ways, because nobody put enough pressure on them to change. They start to be condescending. They start to dissect our lives. They start to criticize us, and they start to judge us. So the things that they don't like us doing, what they assume that we're doing, they start to do. And it's called like getting even. Getting even to make them feel better. Because there's things that happen within our core. If things are bothering us and we're going through some big challenges, that certain things we're going to be sensitive towards. So if somebody says something, and even if that person doesn't know, or they do know, that we will find moments to where we're going to get heated, because it's more of like an ego thing. Nobody wants to be low quality. Nobody wants to be a problem. Nobody wants to be toxic. But sometimes they don't see their lives, that they don't self-observe enough, and that they don't see that they have a lot of problems going on, and they know of their problems. They know of their challenges and the obstacles. And sometimes they want us to solve their problems, and sometimes They want us to just listen. But sometimes we don't know what to do because they confuse us, and it becomes a catch-22 every time. And there's going to be some people that are going to look up and feel positive that no matter what happened in their life, no matter what happened in the past, no matter what is blocking them, that they know that they have control over the events in their life. That their life does not control them. That the past does not control them. That no one controls them. That they're independent, self-sufficient, confident, they have good self-esteem, and that they're going to be positive, to always believe that the future is going to be great, and that they're going to find happiness, and that they're going to continue to trust people. But trust is a big thing. If somebody does not trust you, whether it's in a friendship or family or relationships or at your job, then it's very hard to really get close to people, to get an opportunity. Because when people don't trust you, that means that they don't believe in you, that they're careful around you, because they know that you're that type of person. If like the Hollywood does not trust you as a writer, as an actor, as a director, as a producer, then they do make decisions that stall you out. Because they're like, don't trust this person. And it's hard not to look at trust being a huge factor in decisions, because people do judge us. They judge our credit. They judge what we do at our past jobs, our performance. That we're ultimately judged in life as human beings. And that judgment is a huge problem. That they say we should. That we should not tell people, you should do this. You should do that. And maybe if we say, in our opinion, I believe, that's okay. But if you have to start every sentence off with something that you want to say because you know it's a touchy subject, then that just shows how that you can't be open. That you believe that being open was a foundation to this relationship, but it became a problem when one side believed that these issues were so big, these problems are so immense that they just couldn't hear them anymore. They couldn't hear us talking about them because they knew inside, because they feel guilty. They feel guilty that these problems, our problems, trust issues could stem from not being reliable, for borrowing money and never paying it back, from saying mean things, for not believing that someone will change their ways. It's not always about cheating. It's about someone doing something that hurt us, that created pain, and that we don't want to feel that way again. So every time we have a new relationship, whether it's romantic, friendship, that we put a barrier up. It's like us locking our door because we don't want people to come in. We want to be safe. It's almost like our mind knows that this isolated event or a series of events that sometimes we keep getting into, we don't want to blame ourselves, because if we're too hard on ourselves, then we won't forgive ourselves. But sometimes self-sabotage has a hand in creating problems where we feel that we can't trust people. And if we have trust issues, we're just always going to connect something to the past, if we assume that people don't care about us because one person ruined it for everyone, it made it incredibly hard for everyone in the future to reach them, then we're going to feel that nobody cares about us. Because that one person who we trusted and believed in all the way, that we trusted 150%, did not deliver on their promise, and that we felt left behind, and that everyone in the future that said those same words would remind us of that person in the past. That we connect that past to everything that happens in the future. That every time that someone repeats certain words like they care, that they love us, that they believe in us, they support us, that we reflect back to the past. And it reminds us, our mind is triggered. It's alert to know that it's like those key words that make us extra careful. And that we start to question whether we could believe these people because of one person. So how do we deal with trust issues? Trust issues that make us extra careful and that can create conflict in our future relationships. And future relationships that could be very meaningful and that could help us to reach our dreams, to reach happiness, to have that better life. That we got to forgive ourselves. We got to realize that not all people will behave the same way. And sometimes we got to look at our own lives, certain weaknesses that we have, unresolved issues, emotional challenges, that we could be highly sensitive, that we hear certain things that we ultimately feel like that other people are trying to judge us, that they're not trying to judge us, but it's very hard to have conversations with us if we're always talking about things that are related to our problems, and that we don't have these meaningful relationships of believing, trusting that we're a team, that we're going to work together, and that we care about each other. The moment that we start to think that everyone is against us, that everybody is talking shit towards us, is the moment that we start to ruin relationships, that we start to create conflict, and that we don't believe in ourselves anymore, that we believe that what we're doing is the right way. Even if it hasn't delivered the outcome that we anticipated would happen. And that is the problem, that sometimes we trust our ways, the ways that we do things. And we believe that we know all the answers. And it could be things that are within us, that we're not blaming ourselves, but there are things that are within us that are unresolved, that we haven't confronted, and that we haven't got therapy or talked to people like our mother or our father or siblings, and just really felt like that we need to fix certain things, because when we fix things, we need to fix them. Other people cannot fix us, because then we are going to start getting angry at those other people because they know who we really are. They know our problems, they know what triggers us, and they know that we're sensitive towards certain topics. That we have to be willing to confront our past and to understand that these things happen, that not all people are going to be bad. And maybe that person wasn't bad. Maybe we viewed them as being bad. That we got so hurt because we wanted something so much, and that we viewed them as being negative. And because we view them as being negative, that we believed that all people in the future would behave the same way. That we would always get treated terrible. And that nobody would really, truly care about us, and that they could truly love us. And then we don't trust true love because no one has ever shown us the way. That true love is possible, and that our dreams could come true. And if we start to dissolve relationships that are meaningful because people say certain things that bother us, then we are self-sabotaging. By not allowing people to even have discussions because we think that they're attacking everything, attacking our character, our traits, and making us look less and making us look like we're low lives and we're not. That we have to defend ourselves, then it becomes a problem, and that we need to boost our confidence, boost our self-esteem, forgive ourselves, forgive our past, know that all people are not bad, and knowing that sometimes people have bad days, and there's certain things that happen in life, and life is unpredictable, and that if we're confident in the way that we operate with our lives, the effort that we give, the time that we give, and everything that we do as a person, that we feel moral, then we should trust in ourselves. Because if we don't believe in ourselves, then we ultimately start to feel that everyone is against us and that everyone is attacking us. If we understand the foundation of trust when we're young, and we have a healthy environment that we grow up in, and that our parents explain to us that sometimes people are going to judge, and sometimes we're going to fail, and sometimes things are going to happen that aren't going to go our way. We're not going to win all the time, and that we're always going to try harder to get what we want. Then we are going to realize that life is imperfect. Love could be perfect, but life is imperfect. And that life is great. Trust issues don't have to be the reason why we block ourselves from trusting new people or trusting past friends that were close to us and that we knew cared about us, and that we're just going to get rid of them. That we get rid of people and tell them that we don't need someone like this in our life. That you are all these problems because they brought their problems, and now you are their problem, and now everything that they mention about someone else is now you. It just makes them feel better that you are their problem, and that they're better than you, and that you are not of any value. That you're not worth it to them. It doesn't matter how much time, effort, energy that you invest to make their lives better. You're just going to know that everyone is to blame, that they haven't taken personal responsibility in their life. And it's not something that all of us could do. I didn't take personal responsibility until about 2012 when my best friend's girlfriend at the time told me that you need to take personal responsibility. I got kind of angry about that because it was something like where I felt like someone robbed her car and took everything, and that maybe I made a mistake of that we shouldn't have gone into the restaurant to eat, and that these things happened and they didn't have the camera and they hid the footage, and I felt like the restaurant and certain things that happened, but it wasn't nobody else's fault. And I had to take personal responsibility to know that I made a mistake, and that maybe I shouldn't have sat at that restaurant with California plates while in Texas, and that staying away from the car for 90 minutes that could have resulted in a robbery because I trusted the area. See, that becomes a problem. But because of that event, I didn't change the way I feel about people or restaurants or anything about life. That we have to understand that things could change And that what we do to block ourselves could change opportunities. That if we're not trusting, people are going to know it, and that people could sense it. Just in the communication, whether it's through emails, whether it's through texting, audios, on the phone, in person, that trust could go a long way. That you could dissolve relationships without even making personal contact, and that people could move on. But it takes one person to restore trust, to rebuild on a relationship that had failed in the past because of certain things that we've said that hurt them. We've all been hurt at one time or another, and the reason why we have trust issues is because we got hurt, it bothered us, and we really wanted something, it didn't happen, and that we did not trust that anyone could love us, that anybody could value us, and that we could have respect. And you know the central theme to this channel is to value yourself, and to respect yourself, and to love yourself. And that if you strengthen yourself through personal growth, that you will not allow trust issues to block you, that you will not focus on the past, that you're not going to base the future on the past, and that things will change, that life is about change, that we're always growing, that we never stop growing, and we have to build our core. We have core values, but we have to continue to strengthen them. And if we have weaknesses, then we should approach them in a way of like, what weaknesses create conflict in my life? And that being positive is important. That smiling is important. That we have to believe in ourselves. And that we have to be happy. We don't have to be, but if we choose to be happy, know that the future outlook is bright. And that at any time, we could get what we want in life, that we put the energy, the effort, the time into things that we will achieve great results. But we have to appreciate meaningful relationships, family members, friends, co-workers, just people. Appreciate human beings. We start to create conflict, and we start to not believe in people and think that people are against us, then we dissolve relationships. That it's important to appreciate people that have been there for us and that care about us. And they do care about us. They do care about our dreams, about our health, about our safety, about our well-being. But if we start to reflect on the past and saying that people didn't treat us a certain way and that we can't trust anyone in the future, then we're not going to trust. So this is the end of trust issues. And remember, value yourself, respect yourself, love yourself. Peace out.